Hi everyone, welcome back to We Should Talk, a pop culture interview series from In the Know. I'm your host, Gibson Johns, and this week on the podcast, I'm excited to say that we have my friend Sumner Canfield from Get Organized with the Home Edit on Netflix. Sumner was the first hire outside of Joanna and Clea, the co-founders of the Home Edit, so she goes way back with this company, and her and I went to high school together. So, it's been such a thrill to watch her on Netflix. I can't believe I even get to say that, but I love that her sense of humor and her quick-wittedness and her intelligence is getting exposed to so many different people who watch Netflix all around the world, and it's just been so much fun to watch her. And so it was a no-brainer to have her on the show and to interview her. It was her first interview ever, and again, she goes way back with the Home Edit, so I loved hearing about just her evolution at this company. And now with the show, her role has changed a lot over the years, and she really is one of the primary people at this company that just got acquired by Reese Witherspoon's Hello Sunshine. So we had a lot to discuss, and it was just so much fun to do the deep dive. I think with friends, sometimes you get to hear about certain aspects of their job or certain aspects of their life, but to really be able to get the time and do a deep dive and to hear about all these things was really fun and special. And we did this interview on the heels of Clea announcing to the world that she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And, we're obviously thinking of her and wishing for a speedy recovery. And I just so admire her. If you haven't read her posts on Instagram announcing that, definitely go back and read it, because she's really not making this moment just about her or her diagnosis. She's using this moment as an opportunity to urge women to prioritize their health and get checked and just raise awareness in general for breast cancer. And I so admired that. So again, we're wishing Clea a speedy recovery. We're sending her all the good vibes and prayers. And we just hope she gets over this and through this, because we know she will. So anyway, keep listening for my interview with Sumner Canfield from Get Organized with the Home Edit. You can stream seasons 1 and 2 of the show on Netflix now. And please rate, review, and subscribe to We Should Talk on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. All right, so we are here with Sumner Canfield from the Home Edit, from Get Organized with the Home Edit on Netflix. This is a really special moment for me because I've known Sumner since high school. We've been friends since high school. She is a lovely person. She is the breakout star of the show, and I'm so happy to have her on We Should Talk. Sumner, how are you?
Gibby, thank you for having me. Am I the first guest who's ever called you Gibby?
Probably, honestly. You're breaking so many grounds.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm really glad we get to do this.
I'm so excited, and I thought about doing it the first season, but I feel like this has really cemented your star power this second season. So it's just been so fun to watch you. And is this your first interview?
Yes, this is my first ever interview. So let's hope I don't blow it.
I'm so glad I get the exclusive on the fan favorite. So
of course I wouldn't give it to anyone else.
So before we get into all things the Home Edit, the show, like last week, I think Clea, one of the co-founders of the Home Edit, announced that she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And obviously I was one of many people that was incredibly sorry to hear that. But it sounds like she has a really positive outlook on this diagnosis. And she also, the post that she did was really special because it made it about more than just her diagnosis. It made it about women's health, women prioritizing their health, and more than just her. And I think that's just so admirable, and using her platform in the best possible way. So I would just love if you could I want to give you the floor a little bit, just to talk about that, because I know that you want to address it.
Well, I think I can speak for everyone at the Home Edit and at Hello Sunshine when I say we're so incredibly proud of her. And I think it's the busiest time in the Home Edit's history. We have season 2 that just came out. We were acquired by Hello Sunshine a little over a month ago. I mean, it's so busy, and it's in so many ways like such an inopportune time. But as you said, Clea has really viewed it as, I've never had a bigger platform. I've never had more of a microphone to advocate for women and their health. And the way she's taken it all in stride and the way she's decided to give it a bigger purpose has just been so awe-inspiring and so admirable. So the message is, women, you have to prioritize your health. And I think, in a lot of ways, the medical community, everything's moving really fast. Everyone's very stressed. It's been a very crazy couple of years, but you still have to kind of get through that and advocate for yourself and make sure you're seen by your doctor if you think something's up. And if you think something's up, don't wait, get it seen to, and be your own best advocate. That's the message.
And there's no better message. And you're so eloquent, Sumner. You just deliver it so well. And so, and obviously I'm assuming that everyone at the home edit is just rallying around Clea and just really kind of being there for her in this moment. It must also make you just feel like this is a really special place to work. And I'm sure you thought that before, but like, this must be one of those moments where it's like, wow, like this is really a family.
It truly is. It's not, I think our job is so different because we've never even pre-pandemic gone to sit in an office and just kind of stare at each other from different cubicles. Like it's always been very hands-on, emotionally, physically. I, for a long time, hired and trained our new organizers. And like when we explained it to people, we said, you will see the people you work with more than your partner, more than your kids, more than anyone in your life. And so you really have to love who you're working with. And I think we've just built such a group of people who like we're happy to hang out with each other outside of work and at work, and becoming part of the Hello Sunshine team too. That's like 100 other people that we love hanging out with. And so it's really exciting and it's very fun.
Mm-hmm. So when you are like, you're on your hands and knees, you're organizing crayons on the floor with somebody, that really does make you really close to these people, doesn't it? Like, that's like, you're spending hours and hours just probably shooting the.
Yeah. I mean, I remember on one of my first jobs, like Joanna ended up in my lap. And I was like, okay, this is a different environment because my boss is in my lap, but we were in a pantry that was like super narrow and I was kind of on the floor and she was trying to do something above me and we just had to get it done.
It's the nature of the beast.
That's what happens. And I mean, Shayna, my coworker, the first job she went on with them, she thought she was like secretly being hazed because it was like a crazy climbing over everyone's situation. And so it is very, very bonding in the best way.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so take me back. So I remember when you started working with the home edit. Correct me if I'm wrong. You were the third employee, right? Like you're number 3, or is that, or like you were close to the beginning?
I was first hire. I was the first hire. So it was Clea and Joanna, and then me.
Right. So, and at that point, like, just talk me through your journey at this company. When was that? And back then, you were just somebody, I mean, I when it's a small company like that, you're probably all hands on deck on all things, but talking about your journey and the evolution of your role at the home edit.
Oh gosh, I've done everything almost. So I just cold emailed Clea and Joanna out of the blue because I saw someone I followed on Instagram, but this was like before stories, before like the home edit Instagram had really taken off. Like it was a local Nashville person who I saw post about it. And I said, oh, I feel like I would really enjoy doing that. And so I emailed them and said, hey, I'd love to talk to you about your business, see if you need any help, not knowing that when I emailed them, the business was like 5 weeks old. I had no clue. So they were very nice to meet me for coffee, but it's so funny because the way they tell it now, they say, oh, we were going to meet you and talk to you, but like, we weren't going to hire anyone. Like we were good. It was just the two of us. We did not need anyone, but I'm so completely charming that I guess I just won them over. But it was so funny when I started, and I love them for this so much. Like they have exacting standards and they know how it needs to be and how it needs to look. And I truly love that about them. And so
you're the same way. You're the same way. Like that's how you are.
I'd like to think, thank you. But so I told them like I could help with anything, put me to it. And they said, okay, we're going to start having you do returns. And so in the beginning, I was only doing the returns. And then I think maybe somebody had a cold. And so I had to step in and help on a job. And that was the first organizing project that I helped on. And so
were you like, okay, this is my moment to shine. Like, I got to do this right.
Oh, 100%. Because I said, if I blow this, then like, this is going absolutely nowhere fast.
Right.
They'll see through the whole charade. And so I think the beginning was just me weaseling my way into different things. And they were very, very nice to let me, but it was the three of us. And then, we had a couple people come on pretty early, but for years and years, it was like 7 people.
Right. And it was them. And it was just, you guys would all go to every job essentially. Is that like kind of how it was? Like you move in a pack, or would you get assigned to different ones?
Well, so it was Clea and Joanna, and then kind of I would come on as a helper basically. But I want to say this too, like I love the way they run their business because they fully believe that like anyone could have the best idea that day.
Right.
And so even though I was this weasel who kind of came out of nowhere to ingratiate myself, like by my second day, they were like, well, what's your plan? What do you think? And that has been amazing because I feel like it's really given me the chance to grow professionally because it's
100%.
not a lot of organizing companies follow the model of like lead and assistant. And we just don't do that. We're like, hi, you're brand new. Like, tell me what you got.
Yeah.
Like every moment's a chance to come up with a good idea and prove yourself. And so I think that helped me in the beginning because we were just brainstorming together and trading ideas back and forth and trying to figure out what the best thing would be. But we grew in Nashville first and then LA and then New York. And then kind of in preparation for season 1, we added Miami, DC, Detroit, Orange County. I'm going to forget someone, San Francisco. We just kind of, we wanted to get ahead of the curve before season 1 came out.
So the show was really kind of your expansion was part of the show and the show was part of your expansion almost, like in terms of just going to geographically speaking.
Oh yeah. It's all very intertwined.
Yeah.
Very intertwined, very like very incestuous in here.
And at what point did you, because now you're the director of development, that's how you're credited on the show. What does that entail? And how much are you still on the ground organizing? And how much is it like you at a computer working on kind of bigger things?
So it started kind of as director of product and development because I have, shocking to anyone who knew me in high school, a very like wonky brain for all the measurements and like understanding how things need to fit together. I'm telling you, I'm horrible at math. Like,
okay, but we do see you on the show. It's like, you're the one who like, with the guys that build the shelves, you're the one that's like, hey, this is what you got to do. That's your job.
Yeah. Love bossing them around. But it's funny because it like doesn't translate to me being able to like figure out a tip at a restaurant, or for some reason, when it's like in terms of spatial reasoning, I do pretty okay. And so I kind of found this niche for myself where I was pretty good at that. And I had a lot of on the ground experience. And so I started hiring and training all the new people. And so the development kind of was from that perspective, like growing the markets, growing the business, growing the presence. And then now we have all these exciting products that exist at the Container Store and at Walmart. And so when the Walmart business kicked off, that's when I really came in to give my 2 cents about kind of how everything should fit together, how everything should look, how the systems needed to be built out. And so now that's my bread and butter, which is so crazy after years of being in a different person's house every day.
Right. So how much organizing do you do these days?
I mean, probably for street cred, I should say a lot all the time, but I really am focused on the product development. But I like to think, that's still in the wheelhouse. It's a tool.
Of course.
To make the organizing happen.
You have to be in touch with what's happening on the ground at all times. Like that's just, if you really want to know what's going on and what you're talking
100%.
about.
100%. And I'm only good at this because I was on the ground for so long, and I would be working with people and we'd say, like, this would be really great if it just had a lid, or this would be really, really good, but like, why is it so short for all the different products? And or things that we were like, well, this doesn't exist, but it'd be really helpful here. And so I do have to stay in touch with what's happening because I want to know from our organizers, like, what roadblocks are you facing? What do you think's missing? What would really help you do your job better?
Totally.
And then we're able to take that and give it to our organizers, but then also give it to the world.
So, okay. So you're based in Nashville. That is where the Home Edit started. And is that, I mean, because Nashville is such a small community, like, relatively speaking, compared to like a New York or LA, and it's home to country music. It's home to a lot of famous people live there. And obviously part of the Home Edits, at least the show's appeal, I think, is that there are celebrity clients. When was that always an aspect of the business that you were like, your client might be somebody recognizable, or when did that kind of start to kind of filter into the equation?
It's been since the beginning. Clea grew up in LA. And so her friends from high school were just people that you might recognize from a TV show or a movie. So it kind of happened really naturally. And then I think being in Nashville, as you said, that base exists here. And Klees' husband is a really well-known and amazing photographer. And so he has relationships with people in town. And so they met people that way. And I think kind of just the way we operate lends itself to those kinds of clients, because the viewpoint is really, yeah, you can get organized, but it doesn't have to be in like really tragic looking
totally
boxes that are like so sad.
Yeah,
we wanted to
it can be sad. Yeah.
It can be really sad, and it can be functional and great, but like, does it make you happy to look at it? Probably not. You're like,
right.
oh. And so the home edit really, I think, pioneered moving home organization more into the interior design space. And we are by no means interior designers. I'm not making that claim.
But there's obviously a visual element. There's a huge visual element to it, an aesthetic element to it that makes it so what important. It is. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you know, again, we went to high school together. I feel like one of the things we bonded over was just like our love of pop culture. And like, I remember I saw Country Strong twice. I don't know if I was with you both times, but like, I remember you driving me to Country Strong to see that. Like, we would always talk about that kind of stuff. And like, you know, we went to
I saw it 3 times, and I think 2
I think maybe I think twice. Yeah. So like, that's just like a little fun fact about just like indicative of, I mean, you and I both love pop culture, but obviously part of this is also there's a discretion element to it. And like, you know, you're in Khloe Kardashian's garage and you probably get to see other parts of her house, but like, you can't, I mean, you know, you can't tell everyone like, oh, like I saw XYZ, like in between whatever. Is that ever hard for you? Because I mean, I can be discreet too, but like, you know, it's so tempting to probably spill the tea to people.
I think, okay, here's the good news is that everyone we work with, and this is going to sound like really like boilerplate, but everyone we work with is really amazing. So there's not a lot of like, that's what I saw.
Totally. Yeah.
But I think we work in such like in an intimate way with people. Like we're in their house, but like we aren't, you know, coming to repair an appliance. Like we are going through their things. And it's emotional a lot of the time, and it's private. And so it's funny because I think I don't even view maybe the celebrity clients that differently than the regular people, because it's sort of like everyone has stuff that they hold dear and close to the heart and close to the vest. And so it's our job to come in very non-judgmental and say like, okay, so here is your new sex toy drawer. Please enjoy.
Yes.
And whatever it is, you just have to do it. And, you know, we're going to make it look amazing while we're in there. It's going to be great. It's going to be the best sex toy drawer you've ever seen in your life.
Color coordinated vibrators. Come on.
Yeah, 100%. Like, here's your rainbow. And so, I don't know. It's easier than I would think it would have been, because it's just so personal and so, you know, it's not like, oh, I saw them at like Craig's, which is like public information more or less. It's like, oh no, like we're really in it with people. So it's easy to keep private because you know it's important. But yeah, we'll do a great sex toy drawer.
Can you tell me who the first notable famous person you worked on was, or can you not?
I don't know. I mean, it's like so long ago now. It's probably, you know, I think like lots of people around Nashville that are amazing artists, but the first kind of big one that they said, Sumner, like, we want you to come with us, was Gwyneth Paltrow's house.
Wow.
In the Hamptons. And that was
in the Hamptons too. Okay. Yeah. That's next level.
That was huge. That was because, again, we were so lean for so long that if it was anyone huge for a long time, like they could just go do it. But this one, you know, we did like the Container Store is 2 hours away. So it was going to be kind of more of an operation. I'd like to think I'd proven myself. And so that was the first big job, and that was incredible. And I think that project has stood the test of time as one of our greats. So I'm thrilled to have been part of it.
I love that. And yeah, because first season you were like the Container Store guru. Like you were the one who was like, okay, we're getting this. But now you guys have the truck, so you don't have to do that as much.
Thank God for the truck. Game changer. Game changer.
Yeah. Oh, it looks gorgeous. So Okay, so then the show comes around and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, we're going to be on Netflix. And I think that
Well, don't
even
forget we did Master the Mess first,
oh,
which was
I actually, no,
yeah.
I'm lying. I watched a couple of those. Tell me about, so did that prime you for Netflix?
I think so. I think it was a great learning experience for everyone. It was our first time working with Hello Sunshine and with
Right.
Reese, which has obviously like changed the course of all of our lives. And so that it was amazing for that reason, but it was definitely a different lower key, lower budget experience. And I'm grateful for all of us that we had done that before Netflix, because Netflix, is the big time. And I think we would have all been like deer in the headlights if that was the first ride out.
Okay, so you were primed a little bit, but I feel like again, it's you almost, because we all just flip on Netflix on our TVs all the time or on our computers, like you almost forget how many people have it, right? It's like I feel like you almost underestimate the reach of Netflix and how many countries it's in and how many people just watch any show on there. And then you guys have a popular show on there. So what was the expectation for you going in? And then how is the experience differed for you?
Oh gosh, well, as you know about me, I have definitely filtration issues. And so I kind of viewed it as like, I have a job to do. And if someone wants to follow me with the camera while I do it, then have at it. But I'm not going to probably change too much how I act or what it takes to get the job done. Because what's crazy too about the show that I would like to tell everyone is that a lot of these projects in a normal world, we would be like, okay, we'll come for 3 days. We'll come for 2 days.
Right.
And on the show, they're a day, maybe a day and a half. And so it is like the stake raising panic. Are we going to finish is very real.
Mm-hmm.
Very real. Like, I've never had to pretend to be stressed about finishing one of these jobs. Never.
And is that a production thing, or is that a celebrity time thing, or is that a combo? Like,
I think it's a combo. With the celebrities, of course, we want to be cognizant of the fact that we're like bringing a lot of people into their houses,
totally.
And it's like a big, very generous thing for them to have a whole TV crew come into their house. Obviously, for some of them, it's more normal than not. But we want to be cognizant of that. And I think, there is the production element where they want to be cognizant of the fact that like the stakes do need to be high.
Right.
And so they're not going to just let us, take our time, take a lunch. And I'm a lady who lunches. When I'm normally at work, I'm like, okay, so like we're going to take a quick hour and a half for lunch. And no, this is like eating Cheetos in 5 minutes and being like, I've got to get back in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And and this season we're also leaning into the cliffhangers. Like I feel like, the stakes have been raised and it's working.
I really love that they did that. I think it makes it a really fun watch, and it gets me.
It gets me into the next episode. Even if I like just finish that one project and then I step away, like I still have to I have to know what's going on in Kelsey Ballerini's tour bus by the end of it. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, poor Joanna falling. I thought she hit her head on the fridge, and I said, well, this is it for all of us.
That could have been so bad. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But she missed it by like 2 inches.
Oh my God.
But I love the cliffhangers, and I love that everyone gets to see like more of Clea and Joanna's like funny back and forth, because I think that's huge on a reason people love them on Instagram, and so to bring that a little bit more into the show. And I think we are first and foremost an organizing company, but obviously Clea and Joanna have built this like insane, huge brand.
Yes.
And I think that comes through more this season, and the cliffhangers are more accurate to how I actually emotionally feel on a project. And so I'm glad that I can share some of that stress with the Netflix audience.
Mm-hmm. And you, I mean, again, maybe I'm biased. You, to me, are the Steamstealer, star of the show. I mean, it really, and like what you said, it's like you didn't change once the camera started rolling and you following you around. Like your humor that I've always known for 10 years comes across on camera. And like, it's
I'm
just,
glad you can attest to that.
especially in your confessional moments, it's like, it feels like it's just you turning to the camera and like literally just saying what's on your mind. And, you know, you're quick witted, you're funny, but I'm so glad that like comes across and that people are embracing it and reacting well to it. It like warms my heart. It really does.
Oh, Divvy, thank you. It's funny because in the ninth grade, I played a member of the Greek chorus in the one act plays.
Okay.
And I feel like that skill from 2006 has really translated to now, because I do see my role a bit as being the Greek chorus of these projects, of being
You're
like
the voice of the people. Yeah.
And now I'll tell the tale of Kelsey Ballerini's bus.
That is a good little through line there, Sumner.
Thank
that was
you.
before we were on tech together. We forgot we did that.
Yeah.
That was an era.
I think that is what's interesting, is doing tech on the plays in high school also feels like weirdly very related to this, because it's like you gotta get everything in the right place
on the
There's
ground.
A time crunch.
Yeah.
So it all started then on Little Shop of Horrors.
The Trapier Theater crew, just everything they experienced there. Oh my God. And I think, okay, one question I did have for you that I have not asked you before is like, and this is not any shade to Cleanju, and I know again that's like there's spatial issues, it's part of the production, they're the face of the brand, but sometimes like when there's the big reveal and it's just them two, and I'm like, ugh, like I kind of wish Sumner and the rest of the people that worked on this were around. Like, not that I think they take credit for everything, because I think they do. They're like, oh no, like the team was amazing, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes I do wish that you guys got to be there for that big moment, because it is the moment, right? Do you ever feel like, oh, like I wish I could be there for those?
So I have two-part answer to that question.
Okay.
Number one is that Clea and Joanna truly every time are like, no, this is weird. Why are we sending them away? Like, can't they just stay?
Yeah.
And no shade to production. It's like, they've only got a certain amount of cameras. They have to cover the family or the celebrity who's coming in. And so obviously that has to be the priority. And so they're like, no, we have a lot of the spaces aren't that big. Like, we can't fit 4 more people in here. We can't fit all these, plus the cameras, plus the family. And so it really is a logistical thing that drives Clea and Joanna nuts. I mean, maybe not nuts, but like they always advocate like, oh, come on, just let them stay. But the other half of the question is, I never watch the reveals. Like, I could go sit like in Video Village and check them out, but I am like, I'm so good. I have lived this day. I have lived this project. It is in my bones. I'm good. Like so we'll go to dinner afterwards and I'll say, how do we go? And they'll say, oh my gosh, it was great. They were so excited about this, this, and that. But I don't watch them in real time. So it's been fun to see them watching season 2, because I know how the projects mostly end up, but I hadn't seen any of the reveals. So that's been fun. Keeps me intrigued as a viewer.
So there is like, okay, I've just spent too much time here. I'm like, I just need to leave. I just need to get out of here. Yeah.
There is. I think before I worked for Clea and Joanna, I worked in interior design and I loved it, because I clearly love people's houses and I love stuff, which is, my deep dark secret at this job. But it's so long. Like, you can be working on one project for months or years. And I don't know, you know me, I'm a pretty like cut and dry, let's keep things moving kind of human. And so I like with our job that I can be somewhere for maybe a day or 2 days and say like, I've made a really great impact. We've changed your life in some big or small way. And now goodbye.
Let's get out of here. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So I have a couple quick rapid fire, just like say the thing that comes to mind. What's the weirdest item that you found? Weirdest item or like weirdest category of things?
A lot of people have pictures. A lot of people have pictures. They have pictures. And that's what I'll say about that.
Got it. Okay. What's your favorite kind of job, the organizing job? Space.
I love doing anything that has little bits. Like, I like really getting in there. So I love like a playroom, a craft room, like an office where I can sort through papers. Like it's so weird, but I'm not a closet girl. Like
Got it.
most people who work for the company are like, yes, I'm gonna merchandise this
Clothes,
closet. And
right.
I'm like, well, if you're gonna find a t-shirt, like that's boring. And so I like really getting in there. Anything that's bitty.
So I think a lot of times there's like a donation situation. Have you ever gotten to keep something that they wanted to give away?
Oh, everyone I work with is going to be thrilled you asked this question because I am a notorious keeper. Because I'm like, if I'm being offered something good, then like, yeah, I'm going to take it. The rule is if someone says, take this, you don't just say, yeah, yeah, yeah. You say, no, no, no. But like after the third time, if they say, no, really, I want you to have it. So I've gotten really good fabric before that I still haven't done anything with, and I've had it for like 3 years, but that's not important. The really good news for me actually is that Joanna and I have pretty similar like home decor taste. And so if I run over to her house to help her with something or work with her on something, I might leave with a pillow or a lamp. I have some rugs from her. I've done very well at her house.
Okay. Okay. Love. What about the most surreal? Like, okay, I'm in this person's space.
Oh gosh. Okay, here's what's terrible is that I've become completely jaded.
You're right.
And I'm like, a house is a house is a house, which is like if you told my 22-year-old self who had like
Totally.
a nanny job, but also a retail job, like you'd be like, come on, like snap
Yeah.
out of it. But it really is.
It doesn't phase you anymore.
It doesn't phase me anymore.
Yeah, I believe it. What is the weirdest DM you've gotten since the show has come on? Have you gotten any weird outreach? Because I'm sure the following's blowing up.
Well, I just love traveling so much that I love, this is not answering your question, but I promise I will. I love people who are like, I'm watching from Brazil. I'm watching from South Africa. Like that's so fun to me. I love it. I'm like, let's take this global. Let's do it. But the most strange, well, here's the other thing I'll say is that the Home Ed has a pretty mostly female base. And so I think probably if I was on a different type of show, there might be some kind of weirdos, but I think I'm kind of saved from that because it's just like lovely people who want to watch houses.
I love that for you. Yes,
houses
totally.
Houses
it's
get
a different subset. I'm doing
okay so far. Yeah. Maybe should I be offended that I'm not getting freaky ones?
I don't think so. I think you're dodging a bullet. You're dodging a bullet.
Okay. Maybe if that's what you say, I'll
and then since you were integral in creating the Walmart line and you really are, you nerd out on these things now. What is your favorite organizing item? Like what's the favorite product?
Oh my gosh, what a question. Okay, I think that if I'm going to give advice, is this my time to do advice corner?
Yes, sure.
Okay,
go for it.
So I think my advice would be, and then I will answer your question, but I have to take a long road to get there.
Yeah.
My advice would be number one, like as easy it is to be in the Container Store or in Walmart and say, oh, I'm just going to like grab some things and see if they work. No, come in with the plan, actually go to those stores with the space in mind. You've measured it, you know what's bothering you, you know what your goals are, because otherwise you end up, we have so many clients who have tried to start on their own and they've done a good job, but then you go back and they're out of the bins you bought the first time and they're hanging off the shelf because you didn't measure before you went to shop, all that stuff. So take the time to make a plan. It can be a 5-minute plan, but it'll save you a lot of heartache in the long run. And then I think the item that can transform a space the most quickly a lot of times is a turntable / Lazy Susan.
I bought some of those last year when I moved into a new apartment and I advocate for them.
Game changer, right?
Game changer.
They give you like, they make everything in a cabinet accessible as opposed to some stuff getting shoved to the back. You can use them in a pantry. You can use them in a bathroom. They're a good entry point, I think.
I completely agree. And it really, I think once you see that, just that little spin, it's like, it kind of opens your mind to like, okay, like what else can I do? Right? Like that's
100%.
sort of, that's the effect.
I think we're so lucky that we have a business that like people get kind of hooked on,
Yeah.
like not in a sinister way, but in a great way, because you kind of start with one space and you're like, oh, my whole life could be like this. Like my whole life could be easier. My whole life could have a better routine. Like I can't stop now.
100%. And just a question, technical question.
Yes.
You have the Container Store lines and then you have the Walmart line. What is the biggest difference there, the price point, or are those like really differentiated offerings? Like what's the big kind of distinguishing factor between those two?
So I think that obviously, depending on where you live, you might have a Walmart or a Container Store
Sure.
or both.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to give everyone the option. We wanted to make sure that pretty much anywhere you are in America, you can have access to our products and you can get organized. That's a good button right there. Maybe we should
good.
say that. That's a good button. But we wanted to make sure that everyone has the option. And so the Container Store is so amazing because they have the bulk. So if you're tackling a huge project, you can say, I know I only have to go here. I don't have to run around to a couple different stores. I can get all the pieces I need. And so if like from a professional perspective, it's amazing and so essential. And then I think Walmart is like, I want to dive into this and this is super accessible to me. So it's kind of,
Yeah.
it's a different way to go about it, but
Yeah.
both are wonderful.
Of course. So, okay, you've been with the Home Edit since, 5 weeks or 5 months after they started. Like you've been there since really the beginning and it's grown so much, obviously. The show was a big part of that. Hello Sunshine was a big part of that. Reese Witherspoon, I mean, is Reese Witherspoon technically your boss now, Sumner?
Yes, she is.
That is just iconic.
She is my boss. Yep.
So once Hello Sunshine came into the picture, acquired you guys earlier this year, how does that change things? Does it just amplify you guys? What do you kind of think how that changes your world?
I think amplify is actually the perfect word, and I'm going to adopt it when asked this question in the future. So thank you.
You're so welcome.
A lot of clients have said, like, what does this mean? What does this mean for me? And people on Instagram have said, what does this mean? The amazing thing about Hello Sunshine is they saw the Home Edit and saw what Clea and Joanna had built and said, like, keep doing that. Like, we just want to help. And so the day to day, nothing has changed. Truly nothing has changed, but we just have them now as an amazing support system. And like, they have so much built out already that we as like a scrappy startup just haven't had the chance to. And so, and I think what's really, really nice is that we've had a relationship with them for so long. So it's not like this whole unknown team that is just kind of coming in. Like I've met a lot of the people before and I've worked with a lot of the people before. And so it feels like a natural
100%. Yeah. Yeah. You were already friends and now you're family. That's kind of what I'm thinking about it.
That's good too, Gibby. I'm going to take all of this to the bank. Thanks.
So Sumner, I guess when the first season was, I forget when you started your professional public facing account, but your Instagram has almost 50,000 followers at this point, which is just iconic. I'm obsessed. So you've been memed. People just love you. And again, I'm just so happy that so many more people are being exposed to Sumner Canfield. Do you have any idea of like what you want to like do with that following? I mean, it's like, I think you obviously still love, you love this gig. You're so in it, but like, that's kind of cool. Like, that's good. I feel like it must be cool to just think about like, okay, like what can I do with this? Like, then I'm assuming you're going to use it for good, but No,
I'm going to sell slimming teas. I'm going to.
I like need you to do a flat tummy check. I'm just kidding. No.
Yeah. No, I do want to use it for good. As you've mentioned, I kind of like nerd out on a lot of this stuff and love like the really wonky, like minutia, like you're in there kind of stuff. And I did a fun video that was awkward spaces with Sumner. And I loved doing that because I was like, I love telling people, the inside tips and tricks. And so I want to keep doing stuff like that. I think that like, I love tips. I love hot takes.
Yeah.
Within the organizing realm. I feel like no one cares or needs to know about my personal life. There's not a lot shaken down there, so we're good on that front. But I think that the more the more like tutorials and I can't believe I said tutorial. That's like so tragic.
No, but I know what you're getting at. And like they're that's what you are known for. And that's what people and you can inject your humor into that. And that is just that's a fun possibility, you know?
I want to spread the good word of organizing.
The good word. I love it. Okay, but you know, you said there were people that kind of have this theory that you're dating one of those guys who just does the shelves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No.
No. Just no. But it's just fun. But it's funny because there's this natural jump of like people want to just like the people are always going to want to know that about anybody who they see on TV. So it's just you just got to shut that down.
I said a smile that I gave when he came into the room was mistaken for, excitement that he was there. Little did they know I was planning just a big roast that got cut for time. So it's on the cutting room floor, but
give us the bloopers.
My true feelings are lost to time.
I'm dying. Okay. Well, Sumner, this has been like, I love that this could happen. I'm just so happy that we did this. And I'm so happy that I could do your first interview.
The ultimate collab.
I guess just like, again, it's a big year for you guys, you know, it was season 2, you guys were acquired. There's a lot Klees diagnosis makes it even more just like so much going on.
Mm-hmm.
What do you kind of envision for the second half of 2022 for the home edit and for you?
We have got more products coming out with Walmart, which I definitely want to tease because I worked very closely on them and they're pretty good and pretty exciting and at that great price point. And so stay tuned for those later in the year. We'll have another issue of our magazine coming out, and who knows where the tide of the show will take us. I think season 1 took us places we never expected. So
give us season 3. Give us season 3.
Oh my gosh, we'll see. I need to do I need to go to like a retreat in the desert for like a month before we do it.
I'll join you.
And then let's do it.
Okay, well, Summy, everyone follow Sumner at the Sumner Canfield on Instagram. Please, everyone listening and watching, I'm sure feels the same, but just send all the good vibes towards Clea and her recovery and her fight. We are thinking of her, and I just can't wait to see what comes next for you. Because again, I'm just so excited and happy for you. And this has just been so much fun. I love watching you on Netflix.
Gibby.
Yes.
I love you.
I'll
talk to you later.
Thanks so much, Sumner.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to We Should Talk. I hope you enjoyed the interview. You can find out more about In The Know at intheknow.com. You can follow me, Gibson Johns, at Gibsonoma on Twitter and Instagram. And you can listen to all of our interviews, past and future, by searching We Should Talk wherever you get your podcasts. Hope to see you next time.